Hello, I'm Bliznub, and welcome to Building the Best. Today we're going to be looking at Loki Prime, again, because I fucked up. Anyhow, moving swiftly onwards, we're going to be looking at two different Loki builds today, and they are probably the two more popular Loki builds. So, the first one is fairly obvious, and the first thing we want to know about it is that it involves the Arcane Essence helmet. We want the power efficiency that this can get, so if you can get Arcane Essence, it is incredibly useful in this build. If not such a big deal, but it does provide you with 15% power efficiency, and you'll see why that's so useful in a second. So, that's not the right build, this is the right build. Well, my sincerest apologies. So here we have what people refer to as Infinite Invisible Loki, which is to say absolute maximum power duration Loki. And so of course we start off with primed continuity, narrow-minded, and constitution, giving us 282% power efficiency. Then we have overextended, so that you can still use Loki's switch teleport despite having narrow-minded on here. We have vitality for a little bit of not dyingness, shall I say, because honestly, Loki is probably one of the squishiest frames in the game. He really needs this. And then we have Streamline, and 30% power efficiency isn't really enough, but we can't afford to put a fleeting expertise on this build because it would cut our duration. So that's why the Arcane Essence helmet comes into play, giving us 145% efficiency, which actually means that you can get back all of the energy you use to go invisible before you go invisible again, which is incredibly OP. Now, then we have Hushed Invisibility, which some people will argue the usefulness of this, considering you can put Suppress and Hush on your primaries and secondaries. But personally, I love this mod, because you can silence any weapon, even ones that can't get a Suppress on them. And just so long as you're invisible, you know there is no worry. You can shoot anything and you won't be detected. So much fun for stealth runs to have Hushed Invisibility on, and just know that so long as you're invisible, you're perfectly safe. And then we have Endurance Drift on here. This is a personal preference, really. Endurance Drift... by the way, sorry, just realised, Streamline 145% efficiency. I'm assuming you have an energy siphon on your Loki. You should not be taking Infinite Invisibility Loki into a raid, so you should always have an energy siphon up here, not a corrosive projection. Yes, I know people who do that. Anyhow, Endurance Drift and Firewalker are here, because personally, I use Loki for speed running and doing spy missions, and I want to be able to move very fast through the air. Endurance Drift is on here because of the delightful 12% parkour velocity increase, which is incredibly useful in my opinion. Firewalker on here for the same reason. It just lets me bullet jump all the way across the map with no effort whatsoever. And honestly, that freedom of movement is so much fun. But this is not the build I'm going to show you, because honestly it's boring. If you want to see me go invisible for 33 seconds, sure, I can show you this build in action. It's going to be a very boring video though. I'm going to show you my other build, which actually I'm going to be using the same helmet for, but just so you know, the Arcane Swindle helmet works very well on this because it provides a 15% boost to your range, but I genuinely prefer the Arcane Essence helmet and its power efficiency over Swindle. Also because Swindle looks retarded. Let's be honest, guys. He has jangly things on his head. Come on. Anyhow. So the other build is a disarm build, which you will find kicking around in raids. Now, this is utility over functionality. We're losing a lot of duration in this build, so we do still have primed continuity and constitution on here, but they're more of a side thought on this build, as we have fleeting expertise at 4 points. Streamline, you can have this at 4 points if you don't have enough room in your build, but it doesn't really matter. We're just getting the max 175% efficiency. And then we have overextended stretch, cutting drift for even more power range. And like I say, the Arcane Swindle can give you yet another 15% boost to this. And we have irradiating disarm on here, although you you shouldn't always have a radiating disarm on here. And I'll explain why in a second. But basically what we've got here is a build where you can press 4 with almost no energy cost, and everything around you for a large distance will have their enemy, that will have their weapon taken off them, and will be irradiated for, I believe we figured it out as being about 12 seconds with this setup with 133% duration. Haven't actually run the numbers on that, but it looks about right. Now, given that I took the Essence helmet off, I'm actually going to take Fleeting Expertise off on this one, and you can see the efficiency goes down, but the duration goes up, which means the duration that they're irradiated is higher. So this is the pros and cons that I'm talking about. Now, I'm going to very quickly go and put that back on, because this is the build I'm going to be demonstrating. And I will put my jangly helmet on. I have been resisting it, but yeah, it just occurred to me I should probably do it. So there you go, I have a jangly helmet. God damn it. So there we have it, 265% power range, which is, I believe, the highest you can get in the game. And we have a corrosive projection here, because obviously this is my raid page. But before I demonstrate this, there is one last thing I have to say, and that is that if you do take this into the Law of Retribution raid, don't put a radiating disarm on. People will hate you for that. Swap this out with a flow, because if enemies are killing themselves and they're disarmed, it doesn't really make sense. In Law of Retribution, you normally focus on disarming the enemies and then blinding them so that they are completely useless and will not run over to you. But if they're irradiated, there is a chance that before they get blinded, they will start beating the crap out of each other, killing each other, and then new enemies will spawn in, often level 100 bombards, who will shoot at you whilst you're standing on a button. And yes, I know everyone who has run a raid has seen that happen, and it is not pretty. Anyhow, this is a fairly standard build. It's just max range, little bit of duration, and max efficiency, but honestly, this build will do you so well. Now, I'm going to try and demonstrate it, but honestly, I'm not sure how... I'm not actually in a raid. I'm going to put Energy Siphon on. Just occurred, not that one. Just occurred to me. I'm going to have a tough time staying invisible without Energy Siphon. So I'm just going to run somewhere into a mission. We're going to go to series for this. We're going to find a large group of Grineer and hopefully demonstrate just what Loki can do. Because, honestly, the ability to stay invisible is incredibly useful. Basically means you won't get hurt because enemies won't know where to attack. But the ability to disarm enemies, make them completely useless to everyone in your squad, that's even more cool. And if you can irradiate them at the same time, basically having Nyx's Chaos attached to one of your abilities, that makes things even more fun. As you can see, they're flailing away at each other for what will be, like I say, about 12 seconds. So they're not actually going to kill many of them, but it's very, very fun. And if there are butchers around, you can believe that these will kill some. And any new enemies that spawn in, obviously, will be distracted by the irradiated enemies. Yeah, but this is the great thing about Loki. It's wandering around with the enemy having no idea where you are. All they know is that some of their allies are currently trying to beat the crap out of each other. And every now and then there's a flicker of a Warframe and then he goes invisible again. And this is the essence of Loki. This is why people get him. Just because of this utility. And having seen this, little public service announcement on series, if you ever get this tile set and you are at all interested in collecting Curia, jump the fuck up here. Okay? This is the most difficult 2 Curia in the game to collect, because this tile is, I believe, the rarest tile in the game, and you want to look, I believe it's the peak of that mount, it's up there somewhere. There is a Curia right there, there we go. And you can scan it from here if you are pixel perfect with your mouse, but jumping up there is near impossible. Anyhow, I just thought I'd let you know, seeing as this is like I say, one of the rarest tile sets in the game, and I've only ever gotten it like 4 or 5 times, and I play series all the damn time, so yeah. Anyhow, thank you very much for watching. Just before I end this, I realised I forgot to show you the actual stats on this page, so I'll just show you the ability numbers. And you can hopefully see that we are getting 53 power range on our ult, which is what we're really interested on. We're doing almost no damage, and that doesn't even matter unless you're up against Infested, but the power range is so useful. Disarming everything within 53 meters and being able to switch teleport a country mile is also pretty damn useful. The Invis, as I say, is a side thought in this build, but honestly, so useful. You will see this requested in raids, and it is the easiest role to run in raid because you just stand on buttons and occasionally hit 4 and try not to step off the button when you hit 4. Which, actually, that's something I should probably go into another time, but I haven't covered the Law of Retribution raid yet. Anyhow, thank you very much for watching. Please like and comment below and subscribe for more. And again, I am sorry for the stuttery recording before. But anyhow, I'm Bliznub, and this is, of course, Loki.